So continuing her holiday season close-ups, Willow is right there. Yes, I said your name. So, yes. Oh my goodness. She is probably gonna be held this entire video because here she is. Because I've kind of trained her that if I'm on the computer and I don't want her to lay on the keyboard, then she knows that she can be cuddled. So yes, I love you too. And then she just looks at me and says, "Oh, kiss me. I love you too." So, all right. Really, I don't have anything to show in physical form. This is a bonus, Flosstube bonus, finish parade for 2025. Let me sit back in the chair a bit, Willow, because you're kind of heavy and my back hurts. So I've been stitching a little bit today. So today is January 2nd and Friday, and I think it's the first and third Friday, but I don't know. You will need to check Acorns and Threads calendar on their website. But they have a embroidery group, like workshop, where people come in and work on all sorts of embroidery, and they show that, you know, they may work on quilting. They showed a beautiful hand-pieced quilt today, and they share their work, and they talk to Jolynn, who is the sort of organizer, instructor. She just is a multi-crafter and has lots of experience. She teaches classes at Acorns and Threads, and a lot of times the timing of her class doesn't work out for me, but or it's something that I have not wanted to try at this time. But a lot of my friends have gone to her classes and have learned to do things. And she's just a wonderful human being. She's just a sweet person and so always kind. Even if she doesn't know you, she's kind to you. And she's generous. And so this is about the third Friday group that I've ever been to, because, you know, I work full time. And so I just don't, I think cat hair is in my eye. Occupational hazard. So she, where was I? She has these embroidery groups. I think it's at least twice a month. And so I've been there, like I say, 3 times. And those are days that I was like, had a holiday, say Juneteenth. Well, actually Juneteenth might be a Friday this June. I don't know if it'll fall on the right Friday for her group. But anyway, I was going through the calendar on Acorns and Threads website, and the calendar said that the thing was going on today, and I took vacation today. My house is still a wreck, and there's some things I'm going to try to accomplish tomorrow afternoon and evening, but I think the house has beat me. I have made a lot of progress, and I was hoping for a bit more help, but my spouse is, the medical issue he has is not resolved yet, and he's had some symptoms. So that's kind of kept him under the weather and not able to help out the way, you know, I wasn't expecting much help, but I was expecting a bit more help than he was able to provide. And he felt bad about it, but I was like, dude, you're sick, you know. If you know, I'm not blaming him for being sick. I mean, this is something that this happens to people, and you know, he's got to work through it. But anyway, I'm looking over there because I've got my finish spreadsheet, which has 24 and 25, and now 2026 finishes. So when I went to the embroidery group today, I was really close to a finish, and I did accomplish it, and I will show it at the end of this video. I don't have it physically because I finished it, took a picture of it on my phone, and then they have a finisher with acorns and threads, and sorry, cat hair on my nose, so I just was like, okay, I want it done, kind of like the picture on the pattern, really simple, cording around the edges. Here's some floss. I gave him some skeins of floss and said, these are the 3 colors in the cording, like what's on the pattern. And so, although what was on the pattern was stitched with Be Stitch Me silks, and maybe the cording was silk, I stitched it with the DMC conversion. So anyway, so I'm just going to go through my my finishes for 2025. Now 2024 I had 11 finishes, and 2025 I haven't counted how many things I started. In 2024 I had 17 starts. That doesn't count what I already had whips of, which was like at least 6 or 7 whips, and that were from before, that were 2023 and before. And then I had 11 finishes last year, and so this year, like I say, I have started a bunch. I don't know. Looking at the spreadsheet, yeah, I don't know how many. I'll have to do the math and give you that in my next official Flosstube, which will be in about 10 days. But I had, again, 11 finishes. So, hey, I'm consistent and trying to increase that, but not sure I can, at least not until I retire. But anyway, so the first finish I had, in January and February of I was really busy and motivated in January and was doing a lot of planning and thinking. And then in February, I was like, if I don't do a finish per month, I mean, all I've got are these big ass projects, and I'm never going to finish anything to show people, and people want to see finishes in Flosstubes. We like to celebrate other people's success in completing projects. So I was like, I'm going to take some cat hair off you, Willow. So I'm going to just do what I can to finish at least one thing a month. And so the first finish I had last year was May 29th. May 29th, and that was the Cabernet and red grapes, or I've just got Cabernet and symbol. That's what I can see on the spreadsheet. And I'll correct it in a text on the screen. But this was something I stitched, and I raffled it during the Cannon Beach Beach Retreat, which was the first annual for Acorns and Threads in Cannon Beach, Oregon. And people, sorry, cat hair is getting to her too. So yes, well, I love you too. So you just can't be upside down at the moment, sweetheart. So yeah, Cannon Beach. And Cannon Beach the retreat was in April, at the end of April, and it's the same end of last full weekend in April this year. There's waiting lists, I'm sure. So, and there's no Zoom, that's an in-person. And so I expect I'll have a finish certainly by then. I don't think I'll have anything that I'll be raffling this year. But last year I had finished this Cabernet piece that was like red and purple grapes, and my friend did the purple grapes because that's her favorite color. And So she had a whip. She was UFOing, and I was like, okay, you know, I won it on her channel, and I finished it, and it was fun, and lots of confetti because it was from the 90s. So, and stitched on, I think I said here 18 count ivory Ada. It may have been 16, but it was really tiny, so I think it was 18. All right, that's way too much time talking about one whip. So the next finish that I had was April 26th, and that was Feathered Friends, which was a collaboration of different designers to do a monthly bird-related, sorry Willow, the cat hair's making me itch. I love you too, sweetheart. So that was what I ended up doing for my Smalls Exchange at Pinwis, and it was very popular, and it got stolen a bunch of times, and then it got, you know, stolen like the third time, and that lucky person got it. And I told a friend of mine I would do one for them, but they'd have to do the finishing. I need to put that on the rotation so I can do that. When I see the, and I think I will, the friend is the finisher for Acorns and Threads, so I think she's probably going to call me perhaps about the thing that I just put in her finishing to-do list. So maybe, and so then I can see if she bought the pattern herself, or she still wants me to stitch it, because it's a super quick stitch. And I said, you know, I would be happy to restitch it for her, but she would need to, because it only took a month to do the main piece, and then the label part, which is down at, which labels the month that the bird represented, that took 1 day to stitch that little label sign. And so, yeah, so I'll see if she wants me to redo it, and then I can put that in the rotation, because I'm almost having 2 things leave the spreadsheet. I'm almost done with my second page of whips. So I only have 1 page of whips. So, and I want to have some open spaces for things like this, that I can say, oh, there's a baby gift. I need to put it on the whip list, and not have that second page of whips. So, okay, the second thing that or I should say the third thing that I finished was on May 24th, and that was, I did tea towels that were Oregon, which is the Oregon grape, and then the groom was from Pennsylvania. So I did, I believe it's mountain laurel, which is a flowering plant on the East Coast, as far west as like Ohio, but you see it in some of New England down into the Carolinas, and beautiful plant. The wild ones I've seen pictures of are, I think, more white, but I think it also can be pink in the wild. And so I did a ton of back stitching on this, and I kind of switched up the pattern a little bit, because when I do one of those state flowers, I take photos of the actual state flower, and then I floss toss to get the flosses closest to what the picture looks like. So it looks more like a living plant, rather than, you know, what a 90s, you know, leisure arts kind of pastel vision of the plant might be. Okay, next on the whip list is Winter Blessings by Plum Street Samplers. And I will also put the different, as I put the different name and designer, because I have been leaving that out. So, got it. Pause for a sec. Okay. I never know if those pauses are going to work. There's Willow. Okay, a little stretch. Okay, Willow. Silly girl. I'm afraid she might be nuzzling the phone. So there's my face, but there's her face. So Willow, I might have to just see if I can do this side by side. So she's trying to watch, we were watching YouTube, and so she's trying to watch the people on the screen, which are not, I've paused it on my computer screen. So let's see, where were we? Winter Blessing, Plum Street Sampler, that was finished on 6/9, June 9th. And I was really happy because that was going to a friend of mine who was leaving the state for Indiana. And so all of the Salem area stitchers got together and we each stitched a different pillow. And then we put them in a big, well, we put them in a box to give to her, but I think we gave her a bowl to stick them in. And then we also did a scrapbook. Tammy from Woodland Stitching Studio made the scrapbook because she's a paper crafter. I think maybe before she was a cross stitcher. So she's been doing paper crafting for decades and decades, although I think she's been stitching for a long time too. And so let's see. The next thing I finished was August 5th, and that was the Cardinal Biscornu by the Tiny Modernist, and that was for the class we had on Biscornu finishing with Beth Twist at Cynthia's of Bend. And then the next thing I finished was a month later, September 1st, I finished the Night Bib. That's what I'm calling it. It's from the Night Terrarium from the Tiny Modernist. I took motifs from that and put it on a bib to give to my brand new niece that was born in October or November. Maybe November? I thought she was gonna, well, she came in November. I'd have to look on my phone. But, all right, then I had 2 finishes in September. So I went to Pinwis, and like a lot of people who went to Pinwis, I got COVID, and I did not want to touch my regular whips, so I grabbed a piece of Lugana and stitched from Val's stuff, or Val's stitching stuff. It's the kitty calendar. I got that as a prize from Just Keep Stitching. And guess Willow, don't kiss the camera, please. And so I had a piece of purple Lugana. I also got 3 pieces of Lugana of the same count, 32 count, from one of my friends at Pinwis, and who was one of my table mates, and she was giving some Lugana away, and so several of us took some. And I had another piece of Lugana that was purple, and there are a couple cats in the kitty calendar that tilted a bit more, so I'm more center because Willow got down. And so the kitty calendar, I'm gonna, they're only like this big, okay? They're just like 2.5 by 2.5 squares. So I figured I'd do 3. Yeah, I have 4 different colors of Lugana, so I'm going to do 3 months per color. And so the first one I did was April, and then the one that I'm doing now is October. And then February is the last one I'm going to stitch on the purple. And this is 32 count Wild Berry from, I think, Zweigart. And so the next finish, so that was 2 in September, and then October 20th, I finally finished the Mount Hood bib that I was working on that had snow borders, which I sort of designed myself. I took some photos of different snow borders doing different tricks and things, and I sketched them onto graph paper, and then I cut out the little pieces of graph paper and placed them on the bib, and then I stitched it and made a few little alterations with the stitching, which I really need to rechart everybody, because I'd like to make, this is, I think, my 7th cross-stitch design, and I'd really like to make the snowboarders, you know, maybe a little bigger, and change some of the angles so they look a little bit, you know, realistic, you know, anatomically, but more easier to tell what body parts and what snowboard parts were there. And the mom loved it. She does not snowboard, she skis, because I had to ask her when I gave her this tour, and I said, see this fourth figure, you know, because family of 4, and I said, that's actually you, the one that was flying through the air in the middle of the snowboard. So again, I took the Mount Hood motif from Forest Home from the Blue Flower, but the rest of the piece is mine. Let's see. All right, then the big finish I had this year, which I stayed up late on Halloween and finished it around 1:30 in the morning on November 1st, was Japanese Bantam by Lindy Stitches. And I actually sent some pictures of that to Lindy Stitches, because I emailed them a day yesterday, and I said, do you want to see this before Pinwhist? And they're like, we would love to see this before Pinwhist. So I sent off a couple pictures to them today. And I guess they do have like a wall of people doing stuff, but it's blank on their current website. So I thought, well, if there was a place to put stuff like that, you know, maybe they have a wall somewhere else. So all right, so that was November 1st. Then I had a second finish in November, which is really great. You normally don't have finishes like I haven't had a finish every month before. This is a pace. Sorry, there was just a bit more cat hair. And so, yeah, so I had a second finish on November 5th, and this was some booties that I did for one of my husband's coworkers, and this is the fastest I've churned out 2 booties. I can do 1 booty in like about 3 days, and I did this like in about 4 maybe 4 days, because I don't remember. I guess I started them. Do I have the start date? I started them on November 2nd, and I finished them November 5th. So 2, 3, 4, yeah, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4 days. Yeah. All right. And then the last 2025 finish I had was the Christmas Pears by Annie Bees. I went to that class. I had gotten 2 of the pears done in 1 month, and then I kind of took a break from the pears, and I finished the last pear. I stitched on a little bit in December, but then I really focused like the last 5 days or so of December and got it done on on the 29th, and then did my Flosstube on December 30th. Well, I'd done it on December 23rd and then the 30th. And I say in the video the 29th, no, that was when I finished the pears, but I really filmed on the 30th. Sorry for the confusion. And then today, ta-da, showing a picture, I did Red, White, and True by Sambry Stitches. It's a fairly small, I actually have on my other spreadsheet how many stitches it was, and I actually crossed that off when I finished it. So I'd written in a bunch of stitch counts of my smalls, so I knew which ones to focus on to get some finishes each month for this current year. But I crossed that out because I didn't want it to distract me as I was doing other planning. So that got finished today. It's going to be given off to the finisher, and so yeah, And that is my finished parade for 2025 and a new finish for 2026. And I will see you in about 10 days.